They have got very deep economic problems, and these are very long-lasting. Over the last decade, the economy's stagnated. Average growth's only been around 1% a year. So this obviously affected tax revenues. They've had a huge re-regulation of the state, a huge increase in welfare spending. And so Portugal was doing very badly to start with. So it's actually a very different case from somewhere like Ireland that had done very well until recently.
Last summer, when Greece got into trouble, the EU agreed to create a number of bailout funds. The one which the UK contributes to is worth 60 billion. The UK's contribution is between 13 and 14% of that. So we're liable for any loans that are given out from that fund, and it's deciding how the loans are given out is decisions made on majority voting, which means the UK doesn't actually have a veto. So therefore we could get dragged down into this, and we would have to contribute to a bailout even if we did not agree with it.
Yes, I think it's very likely Spain will request a bailout. In some ways the situation in Spain's more serious than in Portugal. It had this huge property boom. Its economy became more and more dislocated and maladjusted over the last decade. So actually there needs to be probably a bigger adjustment process in Spain than in Portugal. So I think they've actually got probably deeper problems.
Well, this really is the last country that any of the funds have the ability to support. Most people, us included at Open Europe, are hoping that Portugal will be the last country to go down this road. At the moment, Spain looks like it's been able to withdraw itself from the problems. They've enacted some strong labour market reforms. They've cut their deficit and tried to reduce their debt. They're really making a big effort, and that has been rewarded by the financial markets and keeping their cost of borrowing low. However, if Spain did go over the edge and follow the same route as Portugal and Ireland, there's no way that the current funds have enough money to bail them out, and that would really spell big problems for the Eurozone.
I think it would have been better actually to allow Portugal to get its own house in order, even if that did mean there was a risk of default. The problem is that the bailouts don't actually solve the fundamental flaws of the Euro system, and that's when you try and impose a one-size-fits-all monetary policy on very, very different countries. So we're not really getting to the heart of the crisis, we're not getting to the heart of the problem. So I think this time they should draw a line in the sand and say no more bailouts.
Well, we really think that the sort of 4 or 5 billion range is almost the limit of what the UK will be asked to contribute. As I mentioned, this fund is worth 60 billion. We're liable for 13–14% of it, some of which has already been paid out to Ireland. So in terms of that, that's about as high as our liabilities run. We also contribute to the IMF, so they may be involved in any bailout, but our contributions would be very low, say between 4 and 5%. So it could potentially run maybe 5–6 billion, but I would hope that would be the maximum.
Well, of course, if Spain or Italy have to be bailed out, it could be a magnitude higher than that. We could be talking maybe 20–30 billion for each of those countries, or even more. So I think it was a huge mistake to get Britain on the hook for these bailouts.